Hello everyone, welcome to the next session of this training. In this session we will discuss about additional transport controls which we can configure or which we can use in STMS. So far what we have seen is the underlying technology behind STMS, and we also created basic configuration of TMS. We will see some more advanced configuration in TMS configuration. First, let us talk about virtual systems. We have briefly seen before what is virtual system. Virtual system is basically some systems which you can create virtually, which does not exist presently in the SAP system. For example, when you are starting a new SAP implementation, you will start with the development or quality system. Generally with development system in the initial stage, then you will have quality system, then you will have productive system. So if let's assume you have development system and quality system and you do not have productive system, because in the initial stage, however you want to configure the entire landscape, in that case of scenarios you can create virtual systems, whereas you can add in the actual system the later on. The advantage or the reason why you need to do that, basically when you are creating a TRs, when we seen that when you create the TRs, when you release the TRs, it goes and sits in the import queue of the next system which is presently available in your transport route. So all the TRs which you released from your development system needs to be kept in the import queue of the coming systems, import queue of the system which is in the transport route, so that the TRs is kept in sequence, that you do not lose the sequence of the TRs. So it is very important to keep the TRs in sequence. So virtual system helps you to keep the import queue consistent. So you don't need to really add the import queue later manually. You can create a virtual system. When the system is ready, you can bring the system up and you can change the virtual system to the actual system. It's quite easy. So we will see how we can create virtual system. So for example, right now we also have only two systems. We wanted to create three system landscape. In that case also it's quite useful. Let's create a virtual system. So let's go to our system and create a virtual system first. Let's go to ECC system, to ECC client 000. So ECC 000, which is in the same STMS in our configuration. So we are already in STMS. So in order to create a virtual system, we will go to overview and systems. Here you can see SAP system. Here you can see the option create. We have a lot of other options here. The first option is virtual system. Let's create a virtual system. Let's name our virtual system as a productive system, that is ECP. Okay, and the description is, let's say, system ECP, let's say production. Okay, the communication system is ECC. From ECC it will be communicated. Okay, the actual communication system is ECC. Save it. It's asking you to confirm. Could you confirm change be distributed immediately? Yes, because it has to be distributed into different system, because we have another system called ECQ also. So it needs to be distributed. Right now if you see, we have three different systems. You can see the symbol here. This is virtual system. Okay, this symbol means it's a virtual system. If I say display, you can see the virtual system. You can also see what are all the parameters. However, you can not see the host as well as the database here, because it's just a virtual system. You can also see here it's a virtual system. If you go to the other systems, let's say for example ECQ, you can see the DB host and the DB name here, where in the virtual host we cannot see that one. Okay, that's a main difference here. Okay, now we have created the virtual system. We can also add this virtual system into our landscape. Right now the landscape what we have, the landscape meaning to say the transport route we have is only two system landscape. Let's change this to three system landscape using our ECP system as well, including our ECP system as well. So let's do like this. Let's use a standard configuration. Go to standard configuration. Okay, you need to go to the change mode. Go to standard configuration. Three system in a group. Then we need to specify. Then you will get this pop-up screen, three system group. Here we need to specify which is the development system, which is the quality assurance system, which is the productive system. Then it will automatically create all the transport route and the consolidation route, meaning to say the consolidation routes and the delivery route. The development system is ECC system and the quality assurance system is ECQ system and the productive system is ECP system. Okay, so three system changed. Now if you see here, now it is already created the ECC system and ECQ system, and the ECP system is as a productive system. So you can see the consolidation route as well as the delivery route here. Okay, now I say save these changes. Basis training three systems. Do you want to distribute and active the configuration in all system? Yes. Now it is distributed to all systems. So let's go to ECC. Let's go to ECQ and check whether it's got distributed. It's TMS. Go to the systems. So we have three systems in ECQ as well. And let's check the transport route. Yeah, transport routes also got distributed properly. Now if you see, if you create one TR from ECC system, then you can see the flow of the particular TR. Let's go to ECC 100. Let me create one TR. Let's go to PFCG again. Let's say I will create the second role, a single role, test with three system TMS. The transaction, I will add transaction as TMS itself. Here let's say save, create a profile and generate. Okay, now I will create a TR. Let me transport this. Let's create basis role test import for 3. Okay, right now the target is ECQ only. It did not change. Let's keep it like that. This is our TR number. Okay, now the TR is created. Now let me, this is 01, release this TR, release. It's releasing the TR. Okay, right now it's exporting. Let's refresh. Okay, the export is completed. Okay, also selected for import in ECQ. Now I will go to ECQ system from ECC itself. Go to STMS. I want to execute the transport from ECC. Let me go to ECQ system, log off completely. Now if you see, I logged out completely from the ECQ system. I have only ECC system. Okay, let me go to the ECC system. I will go to the import overview. Here let me refresh. So always refresh this one to get the correct status. So I will go to ECQ system. This transfer should be available here. At the moment it's not available. Let's refresh. So you can see now the transport is available. We need to adjust the queue. When I try to adjust the queue, it's asking me to log into the ECQ system. The reason is the RFC connection from ECC to ECQ using TMS ADM does not have necessary authorization to adjust the queue. Okay, so here we need to log in. So I will log into client 000 with SAP star, which has all authorization. Now we can see it's adjusting the queue. It's got adjusted the queue. Now it's green. Green means ready to import. Okay, that means request is waiting to be imported. Okay, these status are also quite important. If I say personal setting, in the personal setting you can enable whatever you wanted to see. You wanted to see the source client, you wanted to see the return code. This is also quite important. Yeah, and I say select. The return code means it will tell you whether the import successfully completed or not. If you see the first one, it's a return code 0, that means green, that means successfully completed. If it is not successfully completed, then you can see a red here. Otherwise, if you have warning, it will be yellow. Okay, with the respective return codes. Here this status means what status the TR is. Now this is ready to import again, that means already imported. This one is ready, this one is request is waiting for import, that means it's ready for import, it can be imported now. Now I select this, and here you can see two tracks. This is import alt request, this is import specific request. Okay, I select this and say import. Now we need to select the target. Import, yes. Now you can see the truck symbol, that means this import is running. It will take some time. The imports have its own steps which needs to be executed. If you select this and go to the log, then you can see the log which is executing. You can first what it did the copy file, then it did the import, actual import, it started the import, now it's importing. Okay, now after import it did the version check, and it also did some method execution. Okay, now we should go back and refresh again. Now the import is completed and there is no error. Return code is 0. Okay. Now let me go back and check the ECP system. When I go to ECQ system, you can see we are still in ECC system, but the queue is ECQ. Okay. Let me go back. Go to ECP system. Let me refresh. You can see the particular TR also available in ECP system, where we do not have an actual system, it's a virtual system. It is just there on your queue. So when the system is ready, you can import it. Okay, that is virtual systems. Go back. So now let us see what is target group. So far what we have seen is standard SAP landscape using the standard configuration, which has only 3 system landscape. Let's assume that your system landscape is not only 3 system landscape, it is quite wider than 3 system landscape. As we can see in our landscape here, we have one development system and we have 2 quality system and 2 productive system. Let's assume the 2 productive system is used for 2 different region. So we have 2 productive system. However, the development system is only one. And remember, in our previous slides, which we have seen 2 different landscape in a single transport domain, in an ideal scenario, ideal situation, we should try to make the development system is a single system. You can have multiple production systems, however development system should be single system. In that case, what happens is your repository object will be same in all productive system, because possibly what can be different from one production system to another production system is your customizing as well as the master data. Customizing, like your companies, you will have 2 different companies which will have different offsets within the company codes. However, the reportings and the additional programs, the custom developed programs, can be same, or it can be also different from one productive system to another productive systems. However, if let's say you want to use one program only in the PRD system, in the PR2 system you don't want to use the program, in that case it does not harm if you have the program in both the systems. However, in PRD only you will allow, that means you will assign the program to the users using authorizations to be run in the productive system. In the PR2 you will not provide the authorization to the end users. So that could be the first case. Otherwise, we have the locking mechanism in SAP that you can lock the transaction in PR one of the systems wherever you don't want to have this program. That could be one way. It is not a no-go for having 2 different development systems. However, managing the 2 different developments, the efforts will be quite high. It is always better that if you can make one single development system, it is very a good idea for managing your landscape for a long-term scenario. The long-term scenario in the sense, for example, if you want to upgrade the system, let's assume you want to upgrade the system. In that case, your developments are going to be same. So the efforts you are going to put in for upgrade and analysis is going to be one effort. In the other case, you will have to do twice. It's going to be quite huge amount of efforts which you are going to spend. So you have a lot of advantages keeping one development system and have multiple quality as well as productive system. That's not a problem. So in a application management side point of view, this helps quite a lot. But as a basis consultant, if you keep the landscape to different, managing is quite easy. So you don't need to have complex transport groups and managing the systems. And if one landscape is down, the other landscape is anyway up, then people can be working in the other landscape. A lot of advantages there, but in a governance point of view, that may not be the good idea. The best idea will be have one single development system and transport into different productive systems. Okay, now so far what we have seen, what we have configured is 3 system landscape using SAP standard routes or standard landscapes. Now we will create almost same scenario in our landscape with 2 quality system and 2 productive system. Here what happens is we will create a target group, the group which will redirect the request or redirect the consolidation route to 2 different systems. The target group always should start with slash and it should end with slash. Okay, you need to have a meaningful target group in all ways, so that when you select the target group, when you have seen when we created the TR, we need to select the target group. That target group will be meaningful because you can have more than one target group in your transport landscape. So you always keep a meaningful target group so that people can identify it quite easily. Okay, let's go to the system. We have three systems so far what we have configured. At the moment we need to have two additional system, that is one additional quality system and one additional productive system. We can create virtual system in order to complete our configuration. Let's also see the routes. The transport route, this is the transport route which we have created before. So let's go back. We will go to the systems first. We will create the systems. Go to SAP system, create virtual system. Let's create one more quality system. That will be EQ1. Let's say QA system 2 EQ1. Do you like to distribute the changes? Yes. It's now trying to distribute the changes. Now we will create one more virtual system, that is EP1. Let's see, ERD system, productive system, EP1. Distribute the changes, yes. So right now we have one development system, two quality system, that is ECQ and EQ1, and we have two productive system, that is ECP and EP1. Okay, this is our systems. Now let's go and start creating the route, transport route. Let's go to the transport route. Right now this is the standard route. So first what we need to do is we need to create the target group. You can also see that the additional systems we have created already available here for us to configure. So first let us create the target group. So for creating target group, we'll go to edit. We will go to edit, go to target group. So right now we are in the display mode. Let's change it to the change mode. Okay, right now we are in change mode. Let's go to edit, target group, and say create. Okay, the target group, we will give a name slash QA TR QA target training. Okay, this is my target group name. Let's see, QA underscore TR is the target group name. Target group always should start with slash, and the short description also we gave, that QA target training BC. Okay, now we need to specify the target systems. The target system is it need to go to two QA systems. So basically it should be, in general what we want to do, we say ECC, from there it should go to our target group slash QA underscore TR slash, then this should go to ECQ as well as this should go to EQ1. From ECQ it should go to ECP, that's productive system. From EQ1 it should go to EP1. Okay, this is our landscape. Okay, when you are designing the landscape, you should spend quite a lot of efforts to design the landscape. Since the training we are making it quite simple, in your ideal scenario that you will sit with the business owners and see what is the best landscape which we can have based on the business scenario, then you will create the landscape like that. Okay, now it should go to ECQ and EQ1. That should be the target of this particular target group. Okay, so let's select the systems. So that is ECQ and the second one is EQ1. Okay, which now we have created the target group. Now we need to add this target group. So select this and just place it here. So how do we select and put it here? You simply one mouse click, then you will get this kind of screen. Then place it wherever you want, then mouse click again. Okay. Select, mouse click again. So now the route is quite not good, then we need to modify this one. So how do we modify? Let's keep it a little closer. I'll make it big now. Okay, now we can see it. Now what we want to do, we want to delete all these routes. So how do we delete these routes? You select the line and click the delete button. Now here you can see the options: delete selected lines, that is the lines, or delete selected lines and nodes, and delete selected frames and boxes. Okay, you can also select the box and delete it, and you can also delete lines along with the nodes, select all together and you can delete. Right now we have selected is only the line. Say yes, this also I will delete. Okay, and we do not need these routes anymore. Delete this. Okay, so now let's organize it more better. We can also delete this one. Okay, now we need to have ECC here, then we have our target group, then we should have the QA system ECQ, then the next QA system EQ1, then ECP, then EP1. Okay, this is our landscape. Now let's create the routes. So to create the routes, first we need to create the consolidation route. How do we create the consolidation route? Let's go to edit and say transport route, say create. Okay, so consolidation route is ECC. However, we are going to add the consolidation route to the target group, not the target system. So the consolidation is not a system, it's a route. So what we need to do is we say extended transport control, select this. Now you can see the integration system is ECC, and we can select a target group instead of, we can select the consolidation target group instead of a system. Okay, the layer is set ECC, and the consolidation target is, we will select the target group. This is our target group. Okay, so in the initial screen you will not get this one, so you need to select the extended view. There you can select the consolidation for the target group. Say okay. Now it's created the transport layer. Now we need to create the delivery route. From the target group we need to deliver to two different quality systems. So for that we can use this add transport groups. Select this, then you can see a pencil. Using this pencil you can simply draw this, you can connect here. Okay, so now it says the target group should deliver the systems from the target group to ECQ and EQ1. Okay, previously also we selected this one, however the systems is not there because it was not inserted to the transport group. That's the reason this is disappeared, because it was still lying here in this area. That means we have not used it. Okay, now let's say, okay, now from here it comes to our quality systems. From here now we need to add the delivery route. So in order to add the delivery route, we can also create from edit transport route, and we can add a transport group, or we can simply use the pencil. It's quite easy, just draw it. Now this is not a consolidation group, so it's a delivery route. The source system is ECQ and the delivery system is ECP. You can see it's automatically selected. Okay, so this is a delivery route. Then we need one more delivery route. Select from here to here. This is also a delivery route. Okay, so now we have created one transport route with one development system, one target group, and we have two quality system and two productive systems. Okay, now let us save this. Say now it wanted to save the configuration with 5 systems, basis training with 5 systems. I change the text, say transfer, want to distribute, say yes. Now it will start distributing to all the systems using the RFC connections, and the systems anyway we are using is the additional systems are virtual systems. Okay, now the transport route is defined. The old TRs have some warning messages. Let's skip this one. So right now our transport route seems to be quite okay. So now let us create a TR. Okay, so create the TR. I will go to the client 001. You may wonder why I am not creating the TR in client 000. You will not be allowed to create TR from the default user SAP star. This is only for maintenance. So you have to use the non-standard users in order to create TR. Okay. So let's go to create a TR. Or we can also create a TR from SE01. Let's say we will create a workbench TR. Transport route with file system. Okay. Now here you can see the target. Before it was ECQ by default because that was the consolidation route, and here we have a target group. This is the consolidation target. Okay, so we have a target group. We can select the target group and save it. Okay, now we have created. We will not add any objects here. We will simply release it like that because we just wanted to test. So this is not classified. I will delete this one. This TR at the moment does not have any data. This also one of the way you want to check the transport route whether everything is working fine. You are not allowed to transport any changes in the productive system in general scenarios without any proper changes. So this is the best way to transport the TR and check it, because right now if you see this, the TR does not contain any data and it is safe to transport this TR. Okay, it's not a problem because it does not have any objects, so it's not going to change anything in the systems. So as soon as I release the TR, you can see this is added to two buffer, ECQ and EQ1, based on our transport route. Okay, based on our transport route, before when we released from ECC, it went only to the ECQ. Now it went to two different systems. Okay, now let's go to our client 000. Let's do the full management from this system itself. We will not log into ECQ. So I will go to the import queue overview and refresh. Okay, let me go to ECQ system. I will refresh. Now the new transport is come here. Let's adjust the import queue. Should always be done here. This is only for information, you cannot do it here. I believe previously I said this can be adjusted here. You have to adjust the entire import queue. We cannot do it for individual TRs. You have to adjust it here. So yes, when I adjust, it's asking me to provide the user ID and password, just because the RFC user, the TMS ADM, does not have authorization to do the adjustments as well as importing the TRs. So I will log in here. You can log into any client, whichever has the authorization to do the transport. You does not need to log into the specific client. Okay, now it is adjusted. I want to import this TR. If I go to the logs, you can see only it's imported, only it's selected to ECQ system. Now let me import this TR. Import request. I will select the target client. We have many options here. We will come to that again. The import options. Now the import is running. You can see the truck. Okay, now it's finished. Now if I select and check the log, So the import is completed. Now this should be available in ECP system for the import. Now let's go to ECP system, go back. I'll go to ECP productive system. Based on our scenario, it should be available for ECP system. Let me refresh and adjust the import queue. Now it is available in ECP system for import. Right now this ECP system is a virtual system, so we cannot import it. So it's available for import. Okay, so this is the way we can create target groups for our SAP systems. Okay, so this is a target group we selected from, we created the TR from ECC system, we selected the target group, it automatically added to both these queues. So we did not check the EQ1 system. Let's go back, go to EQ1 system, here EQ1, you can see the TR is already here in the EQ1 system. Okay, so let's go back to the roots. So it's added to both the quality systems, then we imported to this quality system, then it's available for ECP for import. Okay, this is the active system, all others are virtual system, so we really cannot import in this one. So basically this is the way you can create 5 system landscape to have a complex transport management system in your landscape. Now let us have a look into client specific transport management. What is meant by client specific transport management? What is the advantage of it? What is the present problem? If you see, some of the SAP landscape contains multiple clients. That's what we have seen in development system as well as quality assurance system. Maybe in the productive system also you may have more than one client. So what happens as a TMS administrator or a basis administrator, if you import the transport into the target system, you need to specify which client you are going to import this transport. We have also seen when we are selected the import that we need to specify the client. So how do you determine which clients this particular transport needs to be imported? So this has to be communicated by the project team or the developer or the customizer to the basis consultant. So in the communication, if something goes wrong and if you import some TR to a wrong client, then that's going to be a big problem. Remember, once you import a TR, an object, to a specific system, you cannot re-import it, you cannot reverse that. If you have to reverse it, you need to make all the changes in the development system to reverse it, then you need to transport it again. So for example, we are transporting the roles. Once you transport it, roles can be deleted. Okay, that may not be the good example. Let's say you are creating a company code. Then you need to, once you transport to a system, then you cannot reverse that. So if you wanted to reverse that, you need to rechange the customizing and you need to transport it again. So once you transport a TR to a system, you cannot reverse that. So this type of scenarios, when you are communicating this information, which client this transport needs to be imported, there is always room for errors. So it will be very complicated for basis administrator to keep track of which TR to be imported in which client and which systems. And if you see, major changes which may happen in your landscape will be client specific customizing, like the customizing changes. That will be the major change, because when you go for customer own development or changing the SAP standard objects, this all does not happen quite often as what you will do customizing. So the customizing changes are going to be quite a lot. So as a TMS administrator, as a basis consultant, you need to manually schedule the client specific TRs through that particular client which this transport needs to be imported manually, which is going to be a real manual job. So in order to overcome the situation, SAP have a concept called CTC, that is client dependent transport control. This client dependent transport control is basically called as extended transport control, that is client dependent transport control, CTC. Using this method, you can specify client consolidation route. When we create a consolidation route, what is the client specific consolidation routes? You can also specify client specific delivery route. You can also specify client specific target group. So in a client specific transport targets, the transport targets consist of consolidation and delivery route which have a specific client specified in the targets. Either it is a consolidation route or it can be a delivery route. Generally what we will do is the configuration of the client specific systems will be, let's say for example, this is QA1 client 010. In that case it will be QA1 dot 010. That will be the specification. If let's say for example QA2 dot 212, that will be the specification for client specific targets route or target group. Either it can be consolidation or delivery. And the target group name does not change. It will be same like before. It has to begin with slash. Okay. Meaning to say the target group, the concept what we have seen it before, does not change. So the target group using client specific target group can be accommodated quite easily. So the concept as such does not change much. The client specific consolidation route, generally what it has the source system as well as the target system and client where the target or whether the changes needs to be imported. So when you specify when you create transport route using client specific consolidation route, during the import period you does not need to specify which client you need to import this particular TR, because once the TR reaches the consolidation target, the system is automatically determining which client this needs to be imported. The same way in the client specific delivery route as well, you can specify which target client you need to import. Now you may think whether it goes to one specific target client, or if let's say I have more than one target client, I want to import this TR to two different clients in the same system. It is possible in the target as well. You can specify what are the client and what sequence you wanted to import this TRs. So the extended transport control makes the transport management and the complication behind the transport management quite easy. So you really do not need to manually communicate and keep track of the transport target and the clients for the specific transports. So once you activate the CTC in the landscape, you need to specify each client or the source client as well as target client in each SAP systems. As I said, that you can transport the changes to more than one SAP client in the same systems. Now you may think, what happens to the cross-client objects or the programs and the table changes? You can combine these two and you can use the same client-specific route to transport it. However, once you transport the cross-client information, cross-client changes, anyway it's going to be imported into one specific client. Even if it is going to be imported into one specific client, it is anyway going to be available for all clients. So it is possible that we can combine this thing together. Now you may feel a little bit contradiction of what we have said it before. That this again depends on the situation. You need to make decisions. In the SAP recommended way to do the transport is to combine, to transport the client specific changes to specific clients, and the origination of the development should be one system and one client. In some cases, it may not be possible that you will have origination from one specific client. In that case, you can have additional transport route for the separate client, which will have only the customizing change which goes to that specific clients, and the cross client changes will go to all clients. Okay, so you can make a combination of both. You can use the client specific transport. Basically, we can use the client specific transport to transport the development changes. So it's as simple as that. So we do not have any big complications there. So even if, let's say, you import the same TR twice, if let's assume that you have the target is two different clients, and when you are sending a customizing report, you want to report your customizing changes, you want to import to client 1 as well as there is one more client here, let's assume 020 in the client 020 also you want to import in the customizing changes. But in the development changes, you do not need to do that. You need to import to one specific client. Even if you import to two different clients, you imported once again, it's really not going to make any big difference there, because anyway, if it is important to one client one time, or if you import twice the same time, it really does not make much difference technically. However, logically you are going to import twice. That could be the reason we can, that is one of the reasons we can see here. Or you can have two different route, one is for the customizing or one is for the development. That's also possible, but that will make quite complicated. In my personal view, I will keep it into one specific target group, which is client specific. Development and customizing goes together, so that the targets will be determined quite easily and you do not have a problem of missing some transports. That is a very important thing here, because you also need to make sure the changes reaches to production without any problems. It quite often you will find, if you are working in a big project and big landscape, people will create a lot of TRs, and the middle they will lose the control of the TRs what they create. When the time of go live, then they will start importing all the TRs with the list. When suddenly you will come up saying that okay, one TR is missed, it was not released, and it was released into this client. These kind of complications, this will normally happens. In that kind of scenarios, if you make it very simple, and let's maybe if you re-import one or twice, it's not a problem so far. If you are able to reach to production in a proper way, I think that should be fine. let's see the present transport problem what presently we have in the configuration we have so far created. So let's go to our system. Let me create one tier. Let me create a customizing tier. Basis. Okay, I release this tr now. Okay, now it's selected for import. Let's log into ECQ. We can go from here /NSTMS. We can go like this. Otherwise, we can also go to STMS in the ECQ. The better method to do is, let's say you do not want all the basis consultant, all the transport admin to play around with the STMS. You do not want to give the authorization for STMS, then you can give authorization for the transaction code STMS underscore import, which will be quite easy. Then they have to log into the specific system, then they have to run the STMS underscore import. Let's say right now I will go to ECQ. Let's say we don't have the user here. Let's say go to STMS import, which will directly take you to the import queue. So if you do not want to give the authorization for STMS, let's say you are afraid that people will mess up with the transport configuration, but you want somebody to do only the transport but not the changes in the transport configuration, then you can give the authorization for STMS import. Okay, now let me refresh. Okay. Here also we can enable our the import personal setting. Okay, display source, return code, and selected all. Okay, this is source client, this is return code. Return code is which we have seen after import. This is the status and who is the owner of this tr. Okay, now when you select this and say import, here we have to specify the client. That is a problem. Let's say if instead of 0001 instead of 001 I selected 000, then we are importing this particular customizing to a wrong client. Okay, that is our problem. Okay, so if let's say this tr comes to ECQ with the proper client, then we do not have this problem. And let me remind again, the target clients which we are using 000 and 001 is the standard SAP clients, which should not be used in the real scenarios. That you will create new clients and you will work on that clients. We will see in the coming session how to create the clients. So this, since it's a fresh system, I'm just using the clients as it is in the system. So in the actual scenario, you should not use or you should not create any customizing in the client 000 or client 001 or client 066. These are all default client which has to be kept as it is. Okay. So I select the target. Okay, now it started importing. Once it's import, let's say I want to import this one into a different client after this one. So I'm supposed to import into 001 and I also supposed to import to 000. Okay, in that case you can re-import this tr. Okay, you can re-import, select this and re-import and say 000 and import it again. Now we are going to import to 000. So it is possible to re-import to a different clients. Let's say, let's finish this import. Okay, now it's finished. Now this particular TR is important to 001 as well as 000. So you can re-import the TRs. Okay. So now let's see how do we configure the CTC, the client dependent transport configuration. Now, client dependent transport control. Okay, or let's call it as extended transport control. So let's go to ECQ system. Let's go to ECC system and remove the existing configuration first. Then we will start configuring the new landscape. So let's go to ECC. Okay, I'm need to log into ECC client 000. Go to client 000. STMS. Okay, first let me go to the root. I'll go to change mode. I will select all and I say delete. Okay, here what I want to delete, I want to delete all, delete the lines as well as the nodes. Nodes means each node. These are all, every single item here is called node, and we have the lines. Everything together, I'll say delete. Okay, selected only the lines. So now we deleted all the transport route. Let's save it. Okay, yes. Let me go back to our system overview. Let's keep only ECC and ECQ. Rest everything we just remove it, or we can keep it as it is. If you don't use it, not a problem. So if you want to remove it, you will simply go here and say delete. Yes, yes. You can distribute the configuration later also. Let's say go to delete. Yes. Okay. Now we have only the actual systems, and our transport routes also we have only two systems. Okay. So we will start over again to configure the extended transport control. Okay. So let us start configuring CTC, the client dependent transport control. So for that we need to enable CTC in each system. Okay, we have to specify each system is CTC enabled. So the first step is to enable the CTC in STMS. You go to STMS, then go to overview and systems, then select each of the systems and enable CTC. So how do we select that? You select one system, go to systems, go to change. Here you can see different tabs. You have management, communication, and transport tool. We have seen what is communication. Management is basically information, who changed and when it was changed. And we have communication. This also we seen. We can define the backup controller as well as the transport groups and the RFC addresses that we can specify it here. And the transport tool, we have the transport directory. Next to transport directory you can see CTC. CTC is at the moment it is 0. if you want to enable CTC, you have to make this as 1. Okay, change this is 1. Now save this. This will be distributed. Come back. Again go to the ECQ system. Go to SAP systems. Go to change. Here also we need to enable this. Make it 1. So now ECC and ECQ is CTC enabled. Let me save this one and distribute it. Now we distribute it. Okay, now both the systems are CTC enabled. This is the first step. Let us log into ECQ system and check whether the change is already effect here. Let's go to client 000 and go to the system overview. Select the system or just double click the system and go to the transport control. You can see the CTC is already enabled in ECQ system for both ECC and ECQ system. So the distribution happened properly, so it's fine. So once we enable, let me log out from ECQ. So once we enable this one, now we are ready to configure the transport route. So let's go back. Let's go to the transport route. Right now we have two systems. We will use the two system landscape, start configuring the transport with CTC. So here we can do is, let's say we enable the two system landscape. Let's go to the change mode. Let's say two system landscape. We will say development. This is our production. So we have enabled two system landscape. However, we need to specify which client we are going to import the changes. Okay, that is our requirement. So let's so how do we enable the client specific here? If you go to edit, go to transport route, let's go to change. Let's change the transport route which we have defined. Okay, let's go to transport route and change. Okay, then we can go to the extended transport control. Here we can specify the target client. So which client we want to import. Okay, let's say I want to specify it like this now. Client 001. Okay, now you can see the transport layer is client 001. So same like that, we can also change the transport layer for the SAP for the standard objects. Let's go to change 01. Okay. So it's always better that we use the standard way of doing it that we discussed before instead of avoiding the confusions. So let's keep it like 001. Okay, now I save these changes. Okay, now anyway we are transporting to one specific client 001. Okay, basis training to system CTC. Save. I want to distribute it. Okay, now we have distributed this. So if I go to ECQ system, STMS, Okay, let's see whether it's effective. Yeah, I can see they are effective. Okay, it's always better whenever you do a TMS configuration, go and check the changes has been distributed to the systems properly, because if it is not distributed properly, then we can redistribute it again. This now we are doing training system, it quite easy, you can just create a TR and start importing it. In real productive system, in a very restricted environment, that you will not be able to create TR very easily and transport it to systems and check. So in that cases you need to really go and check whether the changes is distributed properly. It's a best practice to do that. Okay, now let us create a TR from ECC system. So let's see what happens. I'll go to ECC system client 001 with the user SAP basis. Now I'll go to PFCG. I will create one role, let's say role 3. etc, let's go to menu and add a, if you see in the roles, this is works a little bit different than the customizing and the workbench. Irrespective of the client setting, the roles need to be transported manually. That's one difference between normal customizing versus role changes. Normal customizing and program change, it automatically pops you to create a TR based on the client setting which we have seen. Here it does not do that. I'll add a transaction code, let's say STMS. Then save, let's create a profile and generate. Okay, now let's create a TR for this newly created role. Let's go to the transport. Okay, let's say create. Okay, now let's create basis training trust role CTC import. Okay, the target is, you can see, ECQ001. Okay, so in case when you enable CTC, the clients always specified like this: SID dot then the client number. Okay, this is our TR number. Okay, now we created the TR. Let's go to SE01. I'll go to /n SE01. Put the TR number and say display. This is our TR number which has the role which we created now. Let's release the task and release the TR. So it's releasing the TR to ECQ. It's also, you can see, it's reading the client configuration. Before, this step was not there because the CTC was not enabled. That's the reason it was not reading the client configuration. It's only doing the TP connect, then it start exporting. So here it will have additional steps. You can see once it is exported, let's see, it's exporting. Now it's finished exported. You can see ECQ is being selected. If you open, you can see 001 selection for import. before this particular client was not there. Okay, it was selection for import. So now it is selected in client 001. The target client is already been selected. Okay, now let's go to ECQ system and try to import. What happens? Let's go to ECQ. This is our ECQ system. Go to stms underscore import. Let's refresh. We have a couple of TRs here. Let me adjust the import. So now if you see, our TR is here, but the truck is missing. Okay, and you can see a message saying that specify a target client for all requests. Okay, and you can also see a button here, set target client. Now we cannot import these TRs. The reason behind that is, now we enable CTC, you have some TRs which does not have the target client. If you remember, we enabled the target client in our personal setting before, but this did not disappear. This did not appear, but it did not appear before because we did not have a target client at that time. Now we have target client. However, the old TR does not have which target client this should be imported. That's a reason. Now your import queue is inconsistent, so you cannot process it in this way. So either you delete these TRs or you specify the target for this particular TR. If you select the TRs, so you can select the TRs, then assign the target. So how do we select the TRs? We can select, clicking this one and say select and deselect, okay, using this button. Or if you want to select more than one TR, then you keep the cursor in the first TR and press F6. Then you keep the cursor in the last one where you want to select, then again press F6. So it selected all the TRs. Okay, that's a shortcut for this, using F6. Otherwise you can use this individual button. Now you select this and say set target client. Then 6 TRs is selected. Set target client, you can select any client. Let's say 001. The 6 transport request for import to client 001. Okay, now we selected the target client. Now you can see the truck button here. Okay, so this problem may happen. So remember this particular step. You can use this one to change the target client for the existing TR. Then then your import queue will become consistent. Okay, now let me deselect the TRs. You can use one by one. If you want to deselect. Okay, now our TR which we have created is already in our queue. We want to import this. So select the TR and go to import request. Now you can see the target client is already selected. Okay, if you have TR for more than one client, that also the TR will have the client already specified in the TR itself. So you don't need to specify which client you are going to import. Okay, yes, now it start importing. Okay, it has an error, import terminated with some error. I don't know, this can happen. So import was cancelled for some reason. Okay, then now you need to go and diagnose what is the reason why this got this did not happen. Many cases it is possible, like you have the ABAP program, there's some syntax error, or it cannot be syntax error, there's some code generation problem, this can be some error. So you can also see that one, this went on some error. Okay, the export and import times are quite inconsistent, times in our system is not correct. Let's import again, import the transport request again. When you select this option, what happens is it will re-import the TR. Now it went to green. Okay, I re-imported again because of the time difference. It didn't get the proper timestamp. If I see it now, it imported again. If I go to the import step, the first step in this particular time got cancelled, then it imported again successfully. Like this, you can re-import the TRs if there is some problems or errors. Warnings, you can ignore it. However, if there is an error, you need to really fix that. Otherwise, you will have a lot of issues. For example, that roles will not have much issues, in the sense only when user accessing it, they will not have authorizations. That's what is going to happen in roles. But if in case it's a customizing or a program, it will have a lot of short dump in your productive system, as well as the functionality of the programs may not work correctly. In that cases, you need to fix it. In that cases, you can re-import the TRs once the TR is fixed or the issue is fixed. Okay, this is how to import the TR, or how to use CTC, whereas the TR will have the target client while it is being released or while it is being transported. So you do not need to specify which target client we are going to import this particular TR. So let's do one thing. Let's go back and we'll create a target group. Let's see how the target group in combination with CTC is going to work. So let's go to our transport route. So what we want to do, we want to create a target group. The target group should distribute the TR to two different clients, or it can be different systems. Right now we have only two systems. Let's make it as two different clients in the same system, ECQ. So let's delete the existing lines. To change mode, delete, delete. Okay, now let's add a target group. Create a target group. Let's say QA CL client, QA target with CTC. Here if you see, there is one button which is already enabled, the client assignment. If you select this, you can see the system as well as client. If let's say if you select ECQ, then also you can select the client. Okay, once you enable this one, then you will get these options. So let's add this one to our landscape in the middle. We have to add 001. We wanted to now the target client is added here, so we need to create the first route from the ECC to the target client. So let's use this pencil button. Okay, the transport layer is ECC, and we can also create additional target client, additional transport layer for SAP, okay, so the SAP objects are not missed. So we have ECC and SAP, same like the standard ones. If you create it manually, then the standard SAP does not come. So if you want to add it, then you can add it. If you don't do anything standard changes, then it's fine, you can skip it. Okay, now the from ECC we are delivering to the target groups, that is QA underscore CL. From there we need to deliver it to two clients. That's what is our objective right now. It is 001. We want to add one more client here. So what we will do, we will go to transport route and change. So let's select the transport route and change transport route, change. Yeah. We can use the pencil button itself. Let's say hit here, then you'll have the same transport route. We can add the additional client here. Let's say I want to ECQ and client 000 also I want to add here. As I said, please remember the client 000 and 001 is standard clients, which in general should not be used for this kind of transport management purpose in the actual scenario. Okay, now from here we are delivering it to two clients. From ECC it goes to one target QA underscore CL. From there it goes to ECQ system on both clients. Okay, let's save this. Okay, I want to distribute it. Let's assume this is already distributed. We can go to ECQ and check it. Okay, it's distributed properly. So let's go back to ECC client 100 and create the next TR. And now we are in the client 001. Then let's go to PFCG again, or let's go to SC01. SC01, then create customizing request. Say basis FTMS CTC PR with multiple client. Now we'll select the target. Oops. Let's select the target. Okay, we don't have a target here, so it seems to be some problems. The reason is we are trying to create the TR in ECQ system, where we should not have any targets here, because we are not supposed to create here. That's not originating from here. That's the reason we don't have target here. So we have to go to our development system to create the TR. Let's go to development system. Let's create it here. Basis. Let's say create customizing request. Here if you see, our target is already here. Okay, in the QA system, of course logically it should not be there. That's the reason we had a problem there. Let's create our TR basis TR STMS with 50C multi-client. Save. Let me release the task. Let me release the TR. It's a blank TR. Copy the TR number. Okay, now if you see here, once we released, it is selected selection for import for client 000 as well as client 001. Okay, before, when we selected two system landscape, we had only one target client. It selected only 001. So right now, if I go to ECQ system, so ECQ system, go to STMS. Goes to STMS import. Let me refresh. Let me adjust the import queue. Now you can see here, this is selected for two client 000 and 001. Okay, let me select this TR and say import. If you see, it says two request is selected. Actually we have only one. If you see here, it says two requests, target client 000 and 001. So it's considered as two imports. So it's going to import in both the systems. So let's execute. You can, like this, you can have multiple TRs and you can import in one go. So you don't need to specify. Otherwise, what happens is it will be very complicated for you to import. If this is not the case, then you need to import into 001 manually, then you have to import into 000 again into manually. Okay, that will be the problem. So now if you see here, it's important to both the clients. Okay, it's important to 000 as well as 001. So this CTC configuration with target groups enabled. Next, we will see transport between transport domains. So far we have seen is one transport domain but different group. Now what we are going to see is how we can link two different transport domain. So in general here, what happens is you will have two different transport directories and which has two different domains, and it have its own domain controller. The link you will create from one domain to another domain is from the domain controller. That means you will link the domain controller of domain A, in our example TVD, to be linked to the domain controller of domain B, that is TQA. So these two links will be established between two domain controller, which is called domain link. And in order to transport, or in order to transfer the TR files, or in order to transfer the TRs from one domain to another domain, you need to have a transport directory which is common for both the domains, which can be accessed by both domain controllers. And this transport directory should be linked with an external system within the particular domain. So for example, you have an external system which is TQA, which is available in the domain A, which is linked to this particular transport directory. Also we have another external system in domain B, that is TDV, which is linked to the common directory in domain B. So these two external system will be using the common domain, so that the transport between domain 1, that is domain A, to domain B can be configured. That is the logic behind connecting two different domains. Let's see how do we link two different domains in our SAP systems. Let's go to our SAP system. We will use our SAP system ECC and ECQ. Then we will create two different domains for ECC and ECQ. Then we will see how we can link these two domains. So let's go to ECC, client 000. In ECC and ECQ, I already removed all the old transport configuration. We will start new. Okay, let me go to STMS. Let's assume this is a new system. So we will create one domain as ECC as a domain controller. Okay, this is the domain name. This is going to be the domain controller. Okay, now this domain is created. If I go to systems, you can see ECC, this is the domain controller. Now let me go to ECQ system. Then let me go to STMS. Here we will create one domain for ECQ, that the domain name is domain underscore ECQ. So this is two different domains. Okay, we can have additional transport and transport routes for the domain ECQ, and you will have same like that for ECC as well. Then ECC will have its own transport groups and the systems and everything. So these two domains are two different domains which is not linked each other. So a transport group and everything will be different. So let's say if you are making any changes in ECC at the moment, when you distribute it, ECQ and its landscape and systems are not affected. Okay, so let's go to ECC. Now let's see how we can link this two domain controller ECC and ECQ. Okay, let me go to ECC. I will start transaction. Then I will go to SAP systems. If you go to systems, then you go to create, you can see domain link. Okay, if I select this one, then it will give me the option which domain you want to connect, or connect to which controller. So we need to specify here the domain controller of the specific domain. Okay, the domain which you wanted to connect is domain ECQ. The domain controller is system ECC. So let's say ECC. The host name is ECC. You can see here ECC QA01, and the system number 00. Okay, now we added the domain controller, we added the domain in ECC. Okay, meaning we added the domain controller ECQ in from ECC. Right now if you see, the domain link request is made, however this is not approved. Okay, so you have to approve the request from the other domain controller. Okay, if I go here, if I go to systems, the system is already here, the ECC request is already here. the status is waiting for domain link. Here you can see the status domain link request is sent. Okay, so what we need to do here, we need to select that. Same like we used to do in the standard STMS, we need to approve the request. So whenever you add any systems, you will approve the request. Here you have to approve the request. So you want to create the link, yes. So what it will do is it will also create the RFC connection between two different roles, two different system, and it will also use the TMS ADM user for the communication. Okay, this will be done automatically, which we already know how this is being done. Right now these two domains are linked. So if let's say if I go to the transport route, you can see the transport route. Show this bit older ones. Let's delete. So if we go to the transport route of ECC, you can see the system. You can see the system ECC and ECQ. However, you can see the ECQ is grayed out. That means this is not an active system in this domain. Same like that, if I go to ECQ, and go to transport route, you can see here both the systems are available, where here ECC is an external system. Okay, now you can create transport route between these two domains, same like what we have seen, but you need to create an external system. To create an external system, you go to system overview and go to systems, create. You can see external system. We know what is virtual system. Now we will creating external system. So external system, then you specify the system name and the description, and here you need to specify the external transport directory. This will be a common directory which will be accessed by two different domains. This will not be the directory of the transport directory of ECC or ECQ system. This will be a common transport directory which needs to be specified, where these two systems can be used with this particular common transport directory. Okay, like this you can create an external system in the ECC domain as well as in ECQ domain, then you can configure the route. Okay, 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 with this we are coming to the end of this session. Thank you very much for listening. I will see you in the next session. Bye bye.